Hello again, 106. This is the second video for week 10. So we're still working here in unit 9. I hope that you found the first video on major scales and major arpeggios helpful. The other new material that we have in this unit is taking and expanding our chord vocabulary. So we're going to be using this both in harmonization, transposition, and with sight reading. So we're extending our vocabulary into all scale degrees. So if you look on page 120, let's use this for reference first. In a major key, your 1 chord will always be major, 2 will always be minor, 3 will always be minor, 4 is always major, 5 is always major, 6 is always minor, 7 is always diminished, and then of course that takes us back to 1. So I would use this guide to work through, they suggest C, F, and G. I would for sure do C, G, D, A, E, the 5 group 1 scales that we're working on, incorporate them into that technique, but try your other white keys as well. I also would work with one hand at a time with a goal of getting used to doing both hands. So if I was working through the key of C here, my 1 chord is going to be major. So 1 chord would be root of C, major third of E, perfect 5th. My 2 chord, the root would be D. 2 is minor. Remember, you can double check a minor third by making sure that it's 3 half steps, perfect 5th. Going to my 3 chord, 3 is also a minor chord, root would be E. Minor third, again you can check 3 half steps being minor, perfect 5th. 4 chord, root would be F. 4 chords are always major, that means I have 4 half steps to get that major third, perfect 5th. 5 chord, root would be G, major third, perfect 5th. Your 6th chord is always going to be minor, so my root is A, minor third, perfect 5th. And then I've got my 7 chord, which is always going to be diminished. So I've got my root, my minor third, and I've got a diminished 5th. And that takes me back to 1. So I would work that through all your keys. So if I was going to take it into D, D, my scale, my Roman numerals are movable. So D, 1, major, major third, perfect 5th. I'm working in D major. My 2 chord would have a root of E, minor third, perfect 5th. My 3 chord, it's going to be minor, and my root of my 3 chord in the key of D would be F sharp. Minor third, again, check your half steps, perfect 5th. 4 chord is going to be major. In the key of D, that root would be G, major third, perfect 5th. And so on, and keep going all the way till you get back to 1. When you have found these in all your keys, you're then going to be ready to move over to page 130. On page 130 and 131, we have our harmonization examples for this week. Notice that we've got a melody in the right hand, and you've got Roman numeral dictation in the left hand. So let's work through number 2 together. So if I'm going to prepare number 2, the first thing that I'm going to do is figure out my key, and I'm in the key of G. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to read through the melody. So it's starting on a D with finger 2. I'm looking across, watching the movement, stepping up, watch out for your accidental, up, watch out for the accidental from your key signature, and a skip. Top of my hand, F sharp, and lots of D's. Then I would play through that melody. Watch out for that F sharp. Okay, now I'm going to take a look at what they want me to use for chords. So if chord language is new to you, you might want to get a piece of manuscript paper and write them out first. That's a good practice for you, especially if spelling chords and some of these newer chords, 2, 3, and 6, and 7 in particular, are a little bit dicey. So if I'm in the key of G, my one chord is going to be major, so a root of G, a major third would give me B, and my perfect fifth of D. In the key of G, my root of my 2 chord is going to be A, minor third would be C, perfect fifth. A 3 chord would give me a root of B, a minor third would be D, a perfect fifth would be F, and I might want to put the sharp there just to remind me of my key signature. My 4 chords major, so my root is C, major third E, perfect fifth. My 5 chord root is D, major third, perfect fifth. Again, I put the F sharp there. You wouldn't need to with it being in your key signature. 6 chord is going to give me a root of E. Remember that your 6 is minor, so that minor third would be a G, perfect fifth. And my 7 chord, the root would be F. Again, remember your Fs are sharp. A minor third would take you to an A, and a diminished fifth would take you to C. So there's your chord language. So now I'm going to go back to what they're asking for. Remember that register is your choice. Since it's not written out, I could do it in this register. I think you'll find it more comfortable down here. Your book is giving you space to write these out, as we just did here. I do not recommend it. You're not going to get space to write it out on the final exam for 106, nor are you going to have space on your proficiency. But if you need it for a baby step here, you could pencil them in. So I'm going to take my left hand and I'm just going to find what they're asking for. So major 1, major 5, back to major 1. I could take it up if I wanted to. My 4 chord has a root of C. This would be another 4 chord. Your book is apparently saving ink. Minor 2, major 5, minor 3, minor 6, minor 2, major 5, major 1. So then your next step is to add that in with the right hand. So 1, 5, 1, 4, 4, 2, 5, 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Now, as we talked about in class a couple of different times, if you would like to put that left hand in inversions, if you're familiar with inversions or you just feel comfortable enough to try them, I encourage you to go back through here. When I play my 1 chord, think about going to your 5 chord. My 5 chord spelled D, F sharp, A. Can I keep anyone? Yes, I can. Okay, there's the D. Who's closest to F sharp? Who's closest to A? That would be a much simpler way to get to your 5 chord. That's in a first inversion and something that we will tackle next week. Back to a 1. Going to my 4 chord, spell it first. C, E, G. I can't keep anybody. Yes, I can. I can keep my G. Who's closest to the C? Who's closest to the E? Much easier move to get there. Going to my 2, spell it first. A, C, E. Okay, I've got 2 tones that can stay. What am I missing? The A. Going to my 5, D, F sharp, A. A can stay. I'm missing D. Here's the closest. I'm missing F sharp. There's the closest. Going to my 3 chord, B, D, F sharp. Again, I've got 2 that can stay. I'm missing my B. So you can see how that would be another way that you could work through it. And I challenge you to start thinking about inversions. As I've said before, in a few weeks we'll get harmonizations where specific inversions are asked for. If a specific inversion is asked for, you have to be true to that inversion. When you are faced with just a generic example where you just are given Roman numerals, you're free to put it in any inversion that you like the sound of or that you find comfortable to travel between. So your weekly assignment, your graded assignment for this week is for you to choose your favorite of numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4 on this page. I would like you to do the harmonization that's written and the melody that's written in the key. You do not need to transpose. I also would like a 2-octave major scale and a 2-octave major arpeggio in that key. Notice if you choose to do number 3, this is a scale we haven't done yet, so you may choose to do C, G, D, A, or E scale and arpeggio with it. But if I was doing number 2 for my graded assignment that we were just working on, I need to also submit then a 2-octave G major scale, and I need to do an arpeggio along with that. All right. If you have extra time this week, I encourage you to look at, there's 2 great repertoire pieces in this unit on 128 and 29. It's not part of your graded assignment. I would not put them as priorities over memorizing and learning your scales and arpeggios. They are pieces that we'll take a look at in class if we get a chance to, but they're great pieces that use the scale and arpeggio fingerings, and I think they're worth taking a look at. So, weekly assignment, your choice, 130, 131. Please harmonize one of those examples. Please also submit a 2-octave major scale, 2-octave major arpeggio with the correct fingerings along with that submission. Thanks.